The dining room fell completely silent. My mother had been smiling proudly just a second earlier, introducing everyone around the table as though she were hosting the most important dinner of her life. Crystal glasses sparkled beneath the chandelier. My older brother sat beside his fiancée, looking smug in his tailored suit. Across from them sat the bride's father, a decorated general whose reputation alone made everyone nervous. Then his eyes landed on me. He frowned, not with confusion, with recognition. He slowly placed his wineglass onto the table. "I'm shocked you're here," he said carefully. His gaze never left mine. "What's your connection?" Nobody spoke. My mother's face drained of color. My brother glanced at me with irritation, clearly expecting me to stay quiet just as I'd been ordered. Earlier that evening, she'd practically begged me. "You're coming to dinner tomorrow with your brother's future in-laws, but say nothing." I laughed. "Why?" Her voice became sharp. "The bride's father is a respected general. Don't humiliate this family. Humiliate them." The irony almost made me smile. So I'd simply replied, "Understood." Now every pair of eyes at the table was fixed on me. The general stood. I asked a question. His daughter looked confused. My brother shifted uncomfortably. Even the waiters stopped moving. My mother whispered through clenched teeth, "Please, don't." I looked at her, then back at the general. "I think," I said quietly, "that story is much longer than anyone here expects." And that's not where this story began. 3 months earlier, my name is Emily. To my family, I was always the disappointing daughter. Not because I'd done anything wrong, because I refused to live the life my mother had planned for me. My brother Daniel was the golden child. Everything revolved around him. His birthdays were extravagant. His mistakes were forgiven. His achievements, no matter how small, became family legends. Mine were ignored. When I graduated near the top of my class, my mother barely looked up from her phone. When Daniel finished a 6-week sales course, she organized a celebration dinner. "You should be more like your brother," she'd say. I stopped trying years ago. Instead, I quietly built my own career. I worked overseas, rarely visited home, never bragged. That made them assume I'd failed. And assumptions are dangerous, especially when they're built on arrogance. That was their first mistake. When Daniel announced his engagement, my mother transformed overnight. The wedding wasn't about love, it was about status. The bride's father was General Richard Hawthorne, a decorated military commander admired across the country. Mother repeated his title every chance she got. The general this. The general that. She behaved as though marrying into his family elevated all of us. Except me. She called one afternoon. "You'll attend the engagement dinner." I wasn't invited. "You are now." "Why?" "So people don't think we have family problems." Then came the warning. "Say as little as possible." I almost laughed. Am I an embarrassment? Silence. Then, "You've always been different." Different. That was the polite word she used instead of failure. Little did she know, nobody at that dinner actually knew what I'd been doing for the last 8 years. Remember that detail. It matters later. Daniel never missed an opportunity to remind me where he believed I belonged. "You still traveling?" "Yes." "So, still doing those little consulting jobs?" I smiled. "Something like that." He laughed. "I guess not everyone is cut out for real success." Mother chuckled beside him. I simply sipped my coffee. Because correcting people too early ruins everything. The engagement dinner was held at one of the city's finest private clubs. Military officers, business executives, judges, politicians, everyone important seemed to be there. Mother spent the evening introducing Daniel like he was royalty. "This is my successful son." When she finally introduced me, "And this is Emily." Nothing else. No accomplishments, no career. Just Emily. It didn't bother me. It confirmed exactly what I'd expected. The bride, Sophie, actually seemed kind. She tried including me in conversations, but Daniel constantly interrupted. Emily wouldn't understand. "Emily's been away forever. Emily keeps changing jobs." Each lie became bigger than the last. I let him continue, because sometimes the loudest people build the strongest evidence against themselves. They had no idea what was coming. Dinner had barely begun when the general entered. Every conversation stopped. People stood, he greeted everyone warmly. Nothing about him suggested arrogance. In fact, he seemed remarkably observant. As he made his way around the table, greeting each guest, his eyes reached me. He froze. Not dramatically, quietly, like someone recognizing a face from another lifetime. But he said nothing. Not yet. That silence made me curious and nervous. because I knew exactly where we'd met. I just wondered whether he remembered. Years earlier, I'd served as a civilian legal advisor, attached to an international military task force, investigating procurement fraud. The operation involved multiple allied governments. Our work remained classified. Only a handful of senior officers knew my identity. The general had been one of them. Back then, I wasn't simply a consultant. I was the lead attorney responsible for dismantling a corruption network that had stolen millions from military families. Our team protected whistleblowers, recovered assets, sent powerful people to prison. When the mission ended, everyone signed lifetime confidentiality agreements. Outside those secure walls, I became invisible again, exactly the way I preferred. Nobody in my family knew. Nobody. Back at dinner, Mother was proudly describing Daniel's promotion. He'll probably become an executive before 35. Daniel grinned confidently. The general nodded politely, then looked back at me. His expression changed. Recognition became certainty. He slowly stood. I'm shocked you're here. Every conversation stopped. What's your connection? Silence swallowed the room. Mother forced a nervous laugh. Oh, Emily's just Daniel's younger sister. The general looked genuinely puzzled. Just? He turned toward me. Counselor Carter. My brother blinked. Mother stared. The general extended his hand. I never expected to meet the woman who exposed one of the largest defense procurement scandals in modern history, sitting quietly at my daughter's engagement dinner. A fork slipped from someone's hand. Clink. No one moved. Mother looked as though she'd forgotten how to breathe. Daniel whispered, "What?" This is where everything changed. The general smiled warmly. I owe this woman more gratitude than she knows. He faced the room. When corruption nearly destroyed our operation overseas, she uncovered evidence nobody else could find. He laughed softly. I watched cabinet ministers panic after she walked into court. The room erupted into whispers. Daniel's confidence vanished. Mother's hands trembled. No, that can't be right. The general looked surprised. You didn't know? Mother shook her head. Emily never told us. I answered quietly. You never asked. That sentence hit harder than any accusation. The general continued. Her integrity saved countless military families from losing housing benefits. He looked at Sophie. If our country had more people like Emily, we'd all sleep better. My mother suddenly became emotional. You should have told us. I smiled gently. You spent years telling everyone who I was. I didn't think correcting you would matter. Daniel couldn't even meet my eyes. That was his final mistake. Weeks later, the story spread through both families. Not because I wanted attention, because the general insisted on publicly recognizing everyone involved in that investigation after portions of the case were officially declassified. I reluctantly attended the ceremony. This time, Mother sat quietly in the audience. Daniel applauded, not proudly, regretfully. Afterward, he approached me. I judged you. Yes. I'm sorry. I know. For the first time in years, we spoke honestly. No competition, no pretending, just truth. Mother apologized too. Not perfectly, not immediately, but sincerely enough that I believed she finally understood what she'd done. Respect isn't measured by titles. It's measured by character. The greatest revenge wasn't embarrassing them at dinner. It was allowing the truth to reveal itself without anger, without shouting, and without revenge becoming cruelty. The general later told me something I'll never forget. The strongest people never announce their importance. They let their actions introduce them. He was right. I returned to my quiet life. Still avoiding headlines. Still doing work that mattered more than recognition. Because peace feels better than proving people wrong. And every now and then, I think back to that dinner. To my mother's warning. Don't humiliate the family. The truth is, I never did. Their assumptions did that all on their own.